the question number 31. N conducting wires of same dimensions but having resistivities 1, 2, 3, 4 up to so on N are connected in series. The equivalent resistivity of the combination is how much? So here, first of all, number of wires. Here number of wires is equal to N of same dimensions but having resistivities. So that means resistivities are in the ratio rho 1 is to rho 2 is to rho 3. Those are up to so on rho n is equal to 1 is to 2 is to 3 is to 4 is to dash 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 up to n values it is having. So that means having the resistivity is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. But what happens in this case here? The equivalent resistivity of the combination. So we know the formula resistance R is equal to rho L by A. But I want to calculate the R equivalent is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3 plus dash 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 plus Rn. So simply R equivalent is nothing but rho equivalent and L divided by A. But here R1 means what is that here? Rho 1 L divided by A plus rho 2 L divided by A plus rho 3 L divided by A plus dash 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 plus some n values we are having. So that means rho n into L divided by A. This one we know this one. But here we are making a common that is L divided by A as common. Rho 1 plus rho 2 plus rho 3 plus dash 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 plus n values it is having. So that means what happens, we know L by A. Rho 1 means 1, 2, 3 dash 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 plus n. But here 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 dash 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 plus n, these are the sum of n terms, that is n into n plus 1 divided by 2. So then what happens here? Rho equivalent, that means rho equivalent L divided by A is equal to L divided by A times, instead of this one I am substituting n into n plus 1 divided by 2, both sides L cancel, but here rho equivalent is equal to n into n plus 1 divided by 2. Which option is correct here? Option A is correct. Now the question number 32. Assertion A. Rapidly changing temperatures can be measured by using thermocouples, and reason the thermal capacity of the junction of thermocouple is very small. Here assertion rapidly changing temperatures can be measured by using thermocouples. So thermocouples respond to very small minute temperatures also. So that's why rapidly changing temperatures can be measured by thermocouples is correct. But why? The thermal capacity of the junction of thermocouple is very small. That means the junction, when it is exposed to the temperature, very small temperature can be observed. So that's why it can be measured by using the thermocouple. So that means reason is also correct, and reason is the correct explanation of A. So that means option A is correct. Now the question number 33. Magnetic induction at the center of the circular loop of area pi meter square is 0.1 Tesla. The magnetic moment of the loop is how much? Magnetic induction at the center of the circular loop. So that here, first of all, magnetic induction at the center of the loop B is equal to 0.1 Tesla, and area is given pi meter square, and magnetic moment of the loop required. So here magnetic moment, that is capital N is equal to NIA. But actually magnetic induction B is equal to mu naught N into I divided by 2R. So from this N is equal to B2BR divided by mu naught into I. Now I am substituting this value here. So what I will write here? Capital M is equal to 2BR divided by mu naught into I into I into A. So I gets cancelled. 2 times dr A divided by mu naught. So 2 into 0.1 into pi area into 1 into 1 divided by radius is 1, here we are taking. So that means divided by mu naught means what is that, here we will take that mu naught is mu naught only. Then what happens here, 2 into 0 point, that is 0.2 pi divided by mu naught. So which option is correct here? Option B is correct. Now the question number 34. A wire of length L is bent into a circular loop coil of one turn of radius R1. Another wire of same material and same area of cross section and same length is bent into a circular coil of 2 turns of radius R2. When same current flows through the 2 coils, the rotation of magnetic induction, the ratio of magnetic induction at the centers of the 2 coils is how much? We made a coil of turns, 1 turn with the radius R1. So here number of turns is equal to 1. That means N1 is equal to 1. Here R1 is equal to R1. Then by using the second wire, we make the another coil with radius R2. That means R2 is equal to R2 and number of turns is equal to 2. So which one we want to find here? The ratio of magnetic induction at center of the 2 coils. So first of all, magnetic induction of the center of the coil is equal to mu naught Ni divided by 2R. So in this case, magnetic induction inversely directly proportional to N, inversely proportional to R. So here first of all, so what are that? But here this length and this length. So whenever you are taking the lengths means what happens here? 2 pi R1 is equal to 2 pi R2. But one thing we have to remember here. So here how many turns are there in this coil? 2 turns. So that means 2 pi cancel. R2 is equal to R1 divided by 2. This is very important relation. Now I will take B1 divided by B2 is equal to N1 divided by N2 into R2 divided by R1. But N1 1, N2 2, R2 that is R1 by 2 divided by R1. R1 cancel, 1 by 4. So that means B1 is to B2 is equal to 1 is to 4 ratio. So which option is correct here? C option is correct. Here question number 35. Delta lambda is the difference between the wavelength of K alpha line and the minimum wavelength of contains X-ray spectrum when the X-ray tube is operated at a voltage of V. If the operating voltage is changed to V by 3, then the above difference is delta lambda dash. Then what is the relation between delta lambda and delta lambda dash? Simply listen here. First of all, here energy E is equal to hc by lambda, but energy is nothing but what is that? EV is equal to hc by lambda. So one thing we have to remember here, V and lambda inversely proportional. So that means V divided by V dash is equal to delta lambda dash divided by delta lambda. Delta lambda is the initial and delta lambda dash is the final. But one thing remember here, V is equal to V and V dash is equal to V by 3. Now substitute here. That means V divided by V by 3 is equal to delta lambda dash divided by delta lambda. So that means delta lambda dash divided by delta lambda, VV cancel, is equal to 3. So delta lambda dash is equal to 3 delta lambda. So which option is correct here? Option C is correct. Now the question number 36. Electrons ejected from the surface of metal when light of certain frequency is incident on it are stopped fully by a retarding potential of 3 volts Photoelectric effect in this metallic surface begins at a frequency 6 into 10 to the power of 14 second to the power of minus 1. The frequency of incident light in second to the power of minus 1 is how much? But here Planck's constant is given 6.4 into 10 to the power of minus 34 joules second, and charge on electron is given 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 seconds. So first of all, what are the given values? So Planck's constant H is equal to 6.4 into 10 to the power of minus 34 joule second, and charge on electron E is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. According to Einstein's photoelectric effect, the equation what we will write means, that is energy is equal to incident energy minus work function. So that means here EV0 is equal to incident energy H nu minus H nu naught. So this is the very important equation. When we are substituting the values in this case, then we will get the value. So first of all, we will take this one. Now here this is EV0. So which one we want to calculate here? Nu, frequency is required. So that means which frequency is required? First of all, I will take this one. So that means H nu is equal to EV0 plus H into V0. This is very, very important one. So here this is, now here we want to find the frequency. Nu is equal to EV0 by H plus HV0 by H. H gets cancelled. So E is nothing but 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19, and V0 is nothing but 3 divided by 6.4 into 10 to the power of minus 34, plus this frequency is given here 6 into 10 to the power of 14. So on simplification of this one, we are getting that 4.8 divided by 6.4 into 10 to the power of 15 plus 6 into 10 to the power of 4 by 6.4, there we are getting 0.75 into 10 to the power of 15 plus 6 into 10 to the power of 14. But here this one 0.75, I will write 7.5 into 10 to the power of 14 plus 6 into 10 to the power of 14 is equal to 7.5 plus 6, that is nothing but 13.5 into 10 to the power of 14. So second to the power of minus 1. So which option is correct here? 13.5 into 10 to the power of 14 seconds to the power of minus 1. Option C is correct. Now the question number 37. Consider the following statements A and B. Identify the correct answer given below. A. Nuclear density is same for all nuclei. And B. Radius of the nucleus R and its mass number A are related as root A directly proportional to R to the power of 1 by 6. So which option is correct here? A, B, C, D are given. So first of all, we will check the A. Nuclear density is same for all the nucleus. So that means what is that here? How much amount of nuclear density we are having here? 10 to the power of 17 kilogram by meter cube. So this is, so it is correct. That means nuclear density is same for all the nuclei is correct. That is A, and A is correct. But what happens to the B? But one thing remember here, R is equal to R naught into A to the power of 1 by 3. So that means R directly proportional to A to the power of 3. That means radius of nuclei is directly proportional to A to the power of 1 by 3 is correct. But here root A is directly proportional to R to the power of 1 by 6. See here, directly proportional to R to the power of 1 by 6. So that means squaring on both sides. A directly proportional to squaring on both sides means A to the power of here 1 by 6 whole square. So A directly proportional to on both sides. So squaring on both sides means what happens here? Root A whole square directly proportional to r to the power of 1 by 6 whole square. So that means A square directly proportional to what happens here? 2 by 6 is nothing but 1 by 3. So that means A square directly proportional to r to the power of 1 by 3. So these two are not similar. So that's why which option is correct here? Option C is correct. Now the question number 38. In NPN transistor in common emitter configuration, number 1, the emitter is heavily doped than the collector. 2, emitter and collector can be interchanged. 3, the base region is very thin but it is heavily doped. And D, that is conventional current flows from base to emitter. So which options are correct here? So first of all we will go with the number 1. The emitter is heavily doped than the collector. Yes, compulsory the emitter must be heavily doped than the collector. That's why the current which must be flows from base to emitter. So that means 1 is correct. 2, emitter and collector can be interchanged. It should not be possible. And that is 2 wrong. 3, the base region is very thin but it is heavily doped. It is thin but it is not heavily doped, but it is lightly doped. That is correct. So that's why heavily is wrong. Next 4, the conventional current flows from base to emitter. So it is common emitter configuration. The emitter is heavily doped. So that's why the conventional current is nothing but positive. That must be moving from base to the emitter. That is correct. So which option is correct here? 1 and 4 are correct. Option C is correct. Now the question number 39. Two cells A and B are connected in the secondary circuit of a potentiometer, one at a time, and the balancing length are respectively 400 centimeters and 440 centimeters. The EMF of cell A is 1.08 volts. The EMF of second cell B in volts is how much? So first of all, in potentiometer, L1 is equal to 400 centimeters and L2 is equal to 440 centimeters, and EMF of voltage for A, that is E1, is equal to 1.08 volts, and to calculate E2 is equal to how much? But in potentiometer we know the relation E directly proportional to L. So that's why E2 divided by E1 is equal to L2 divided by L1. So that means E2 is equal to E1 into L2 divided by L1. E1 is nothing but 1.08. L2 is nothing but 440 divided by 400. So on simplification of this one, we are getting the answer 1.188 volts. So which option is correct here? Option B is correct. Now match the pairs in the two lists given below in the question number 40. List 1 and list 2 are given. List 1, spectra produced by light from incandescent solid. Number 2, elementary particles with zero mass and with a spin of unity. 3, photocell in which current changes with change in the intensity of light after time gap. List 2, D, photon. E, continuous spectra. F, photoemissive cells. G, photoconducting cells. H, neutrino. I, band spectra. First one, spectra produced by light from incandescent solid. That is nothing but it will give as a continuous spectra. So that means here we will write like this. Then afterwards, elementary particles with zero mass and with a spin of unity. So zero mass, that is compulsory, it must be goes through the neutrino. Then photocell in which current changes with change in intensity of the light after time gap, that is photoconducting cells. So that is G. That means E, H, G. So which option is correct here? Option A is correct.